Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well, okay, and all right there, considering everything that's going on in the world at the moment. We have had, I'm just looking out the window, raining again. We have had a really wet couple of weeks in Sydney. We've actually had some pretty major flooding. The kids have been home from school, and I know that's not much given everything else that's happening at the moment, but it's been quite a disruption to not just our lives but everybody else round about us. And we actually thought at one point we were going to get flooded in, but thankfully that didn't happen, and we've still been able to get out and about. But anyway, let us get started on chapter 9 of Scone with the Wind. I hope you're enjoying it. Chapter 9, Scone of the Day, Bacon and Cheese. I had expected David to pop in during the day, but didn't hear from him until nearly 3 o'clock. I was wondering if our date was off when the shop phone rang for me. Hi Kitty, I'm sorry I've not been in today. I felt sick when I got up this morning. I ate the casserole that Jean brought round yesterday. Man, it was spicy. I had indigestion all morning, so I just pottered about and packed up Uncle Malcolm's book. That's no good. I've got some charcoal tablets that might help your stomach. Do you want me to drop them round? I asked, thinking our date wasn't happening. No need, I'm much better now. Do you still want to go out? I couldn't stop a smile from breaking out on my face. Yes, that would be fun. What time suits you? I thought we could do a bit of snooping before we eat. I've got all of Malcolm Malcolm's mystery novels in boxes, and the book club is on tonight. We could drop them in, ask a few questions, then have dinner, he suggested. Book club Bob! Yes, let's do that. We could go before we have our dinner. It's 6:30 until 8:30, so if we turn up at the start, we can still get something to eat before it gets too late. I'll come around at 6 o'clock for you. Sounds like a good plan. I'll see you at 6, I replied. It didn't take long for 6 to come round, and I was waiting for David downstairs when he buzzed the bell. Hi, are you ready to do some super sleuthing? David asked, grinning. Can't wait. Let's see what Bob has to say for himself, I replied. We got into David's car. The back seats had 2 enormous boxes of books on it. I hope they don't mind us dropping these off. Betty seemed to think they'd be good to pass them on to the people who would enjoy them. I'm sure they'll be thrilled. Malcolm had quite the collection. There's bound to be some that the book club members would want. Here we are. David pulled the car over at the pub where the book club met. They had an arrangement where they'd hired a private room and had dinner while they discussed that month's book. Rather than carry the heavy boxes in, we left them in the car and went into the pub to find which room they were meeting. The girl behind the bar pointed us in the right direction, and we walked through to find an older man putting handouts beside each place setting. He noticed us as we walked in and he smiled. Hello, I wasn't expecting any new members, but welcome. Come in, he said. Actually, we didn't come to join the group. I'm David Mackenzie, Malcolm's nephew. I thought it would be fitting to gift his collection to the book club and wanted to ask if you would accept them, David said. Bob looked bewildered. That's a generous gift. Malcolm had showed me his collection. It was quite comprehensive. I was so sorry to hear you had passed. I was on holiday when it happened, but Betty told me when I got back. Have you made the arrangements yet? I'm sure some of the members would like to attend the funeral with me. His funeral's next week at the Old Kirk. It would be good to have some of his friends there to celebrate his life. I'll make sure everyone knows we were all fond of Malcolm. He would have been the next president of the club. I was hoping someone else would take over. People think these kinds of clubs run themselves, but there's quite a bit of work involved. My wife's been sick, so it would have taken some pressure off me if someone else took on the role. Seems like I'll be doing it for another year. I'm sorry to hear about your wife, Bob. That must be a strain on you both. I imagine there's a fair amount of organising for the book club to run smoothly. Were you and Malcolm close? I asked, thinking this wasn't the picture that Betty had painted. We weren't good friends, but I appreciate the knowledge Malcolm had about the books we both enjoyed. We argued about authors, but I think Malcolm just liked to wind me up. It was light-hearted and I enjoyed having someone so knowledgeable in our club. I'll miss him, Bob replied. We all will. He was a good man, David said. I have some boxes of books in the car. Would you like me to bring them in for your members to go through? I think that would be a fitting way to spend our meeting. We could use them to plan out our next reading list for the next few months. Would you like to stay for the meeting? You'd be very welcome to join us. Even though you might not have read the book, it can be very interesting, Bob asked, hoping to get some fresh faces for his club. Thanks, but we're heading out for dinner. I'll bring those books in for you, though. David led us out to the car. I grabbed a smaller box from the boot, and David and Bob took the bigger ones from the back of the car, and we carried them through to the club room. Thanks again for the gift. The members will love them. I'll see you at his funeral next week, Bob said, walking us out to the front of the pub again. I'd better finish setting up. People will arrive soon. David shook Bob's hand. See you then, Bob. Glad to meet you. We both waved to Bob and went back to the car. He doesn't appear to be the big bad wolf that Betty was making him out to be, and it sounds as though he was away when Malcolm died, I said. David nodded in agreement. Another suspect struck off the list. We don't seem to have many more people to investigate. Perhaps we were too quick to come to the conclusion that someone killed Malcolm. Maybe it was natural causes. I think you might be right, but how about we have our meal and try and forget about it tonight and just enjoy ourselves? We went to an Italian restaurant and David drove there, but my terrible directions meant we drove round in circles for 10 minutes to get out of the one-way system of roads. Once we parked, it was a 5-minute walk to the place, which was busy for a Wednesday night. So what happened with the house when it's all cleared out? I asked David, not wanting him to go back to Edinburgh, but knowing his time here was limited. I've been considering keeping it up. It's paid off, so there's no mortgage payments, and I like the idea of coming down here at weekends to get away from the city, David told me. A weekend getaway, that sounds like a good plan. Escaping the city and getting a change of scenery. He took my hand from across the table. I like the view from here too. I was hoping we might get to spend some more time together. I was surprised at him being this forward, seeing as we hadn't even kissed, but it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I'd like that too. So things are heating up with Malcolm and David. Malcolm and David, well, it could have been, couldn't it? That would have been a bit strange, Kitty and David. And it looks like Book Club Bob is not the big monster that Betty had thought he was. He was away, or was he? And yeah, I think he was hoping that Malcolm would take over some of his duties and give him a bit of a break. Running these clubs can be a lot of work. Anyway, I will go just now. I'll leave you with that and I'll be back next week with chapter 10. Stay safe, friends. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.